you ready for the weather forecast for today?
I think so. Why?
Just wanted to make sure that you have today's forecast. Remember what happened last week when you gave Tuesday's forecast on Thursday. That wasn't very good, was it?
Well, you know that could happen to anyone.
Oh, by the way, the station decided that we're going to have a new feature on the weather forecast. That's going to be where we ask a viewer ask a question that you need to answer right there on the screen. What do you think of that?
I'm not real fond of the idea. I wondered what this was.
Okay. That's okay. Whatever. Now, are you ready?
I guess.
We're going to be starting in 3, 2, 1. And now, here's your forecast on LLL, featuring meteorologist Al Grace.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Here's our weather forecast for today. We have a beautiful day on tap for you today. Currently, this morning, it's a little cool. We have a current temperature of about 35, but it's going to get very warm today, all the way up to 56 degrees. So have that sunscreen ready. We have bright sunshine with only a few little puffy cumulus clouds floating around. It's going to be gorgeous. These are the kind of days we've been waiting for. Have a light wind out of the west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And tomorrow it's going to be just a bit cooler, only a high of 54, but again, a beautiful sunny day. Our 5-day outlook is mostly sunny and warmer, and it's going to get all the way up to 62 by Monday of next week. Our next chance of rain is not until the middle of next week. So enjoy that weather today. All right, so here's that new feature that I was just informed of. All right, so here's the question. How do you know your forecast is accurate? Are you making this stuff up like everyone is saying you do? Interesting question. Thank you for submitting that question for us today. No, I'm not just making this up. We have a very scientific way of determining what our weather forecast is going to be for the next day and for the next 5 or 6 days. So here's a couple things that I think we can share with you that you might find to be kind of interesting. So we create weather maps using scientific data that has been picked up from all around the country, from all over the United States. We have our own little weather station right here in central Illinois. It sends data to the National Weather Service, just like all of these other reporting stations do, and that all of that information is put together on a map to figure out what the weather is like at that particular moment all across the country. The important thing to understand about predicting the weather is it generally moves from west to east. And that's because of the prevailing winds. The winds going across the United States that sometimes go across up here nice and high in the northern part of the country, and sometimes dips down a little bit lower. Currently, this jet stream, which it's called, is dipping down in a little bit of a U shape like this. And so our weather that we're going to have tomorrow basically is what the weather is like right over here in this part of the country, because it's going to move in our direction. Weather itself, the weather, is from one of two different conditions. One, it's the weather that's within a very large air mass. And that air mass can be a warm, humid air mass, or it can be a cool or cold, dry air mass, just in general. Sometimes there's a little bit of difference. So right now, we are under this cool, high pressure. Remember we talked about pressure with the water in the cup and stuff like that? We are under high pressure, which is a clear, dry day. There's warmer temperatures down here in Texas and In that area, the temperature is a lot warmer, but it's also more humid. So the other factor that controls what kind of weather we have is a frontal boundary. So when those masses of air meet, that forms a boundary that sometimes has a different temperature. For example, this diagram right here is showing cold air moving in this direction from west to east into a warm air mass, and they don't mix. And so right along that boundary is going to be some very specific weather. And we're going to see this a lot this spring, because this happens in our area quite often, where this cold air mass from the north bumps into warm air that's from the south, and that front is called a cold front, and that sometimes sparks thunderstorms. So we have these cumulus clouds, and then they build up into these cumulonimbus clouds. We get our information from stations like this. There's one down in Lincoln, Illinois. It's called Doppler weather. And that gives a radar picture of the weather in that particular area, something like this. So the information comes in on a computer screen, and it comes up as different colors. This particular radar image is showing some rain, and then these little red spots here are a little bit heavier rain, or maybe even a thunderstorm. The other ways we get information, meteorologists, which are those people that study the weather, let off air weather balloons. And this device attached to the bottom of the balloon measures the temperature and air pressure at different altitudes as they release it, and it goes up and the winds blow it along. And so this is sending information as to where it's at, and we get that specific weather information sent to us so that we can generate those maps we just showed. The other thing that we use a lot is a weather satellite. This was sent up in a rocket a long time ago and orbits around the Earth, taking pictures of the surface of the Earth and different kinds of pictures. The picture like we see, where we can see the clouds, or a picture like this that is showing the different precipitation in different areas, and we see Illinois right over here. And that's taken from outer space from a satellite. All that information is then put together in a computer-generated weather model or a weather map. These lines represent different air pressure, and we can see that cold air mass that we were talking about earlier, and this would be a warmer air mass, and along this area right here would be that boundary. We can see how fast these air masses are moving by plotting them from day to day, and then we can figure out then what the weather is going to be in all these different locations by using this model. Here's another diagram of one that again shows central Illinois right here in the middle, with some rain out here to the east, and then over here on the west coast. So these computer-generated maps tell us what the weather is and predict what it's going to be. Now, I don't just make this stuff up. So whoever wrote that letter, I want you to know that we're just not just throwing some stuff together. This is all done by very smart, intelligent people so that we know what the weather is going to be like, and we know how to dress for the day, we know how to plan our activities, and we can do that even 2 or 3 days out in advance. So I want you to enjoy these next few days because the weather is going to be beautiful. And we will talk again tomorrow and then again on Friday about some more important things about the weather. So until then, take care.